versus Virtus.pro. Game 3.
I hope that this game 3 is going to be straight fire and the draft will already hopefully teach us something about that. We are also joined by an extra member of our broadcast. Jenkins, how you doing over there?
Hello.
Hello.
I've been here the whole time.
Yes.
Yes, you have.
We know.
Silently.
We
Welcome.
know.
Judging. Great, Phil.
Thank you.
That wasn't filling. That was a legit discussion. What are you talking about?
That seemed very legitimate. I like the part where Lizard took his glasses off. That was my favorite part.
All right, what do you want to see? Do you want to see Collapse's hero first phased? Or do you want to see Yatoro's hero first phase on the side of Team Spirit?
I feel like they just need more stuns.
Okay.
The game was hard last time. There wasn't much of an opportunity to come back. They were just kind of running away. And I think a lot of the time that falls on Collapse to be that guy. And so when he's on a hero like Tidehunter and the game is falling far behind, it can look a lot like that. If they can get some Lion, Sand King, that sort of stuff, low cooldown stuns, I should say. Because the long cooldown stuns are really abusable when you are playing against a run-at-you lineup especially.
Look at that. They're forcing Virtus.pro now to think about banning out the Magnus or banning out the Tiny. Because they let the Tiny go through. And this is the mind game. This is the adjustment that our panel failed to obviously notice.
So they ban the Mag, therefore Spirit will be potentially first picking this Tiny. But like the concept of it is, right, it's like Spirit forces VP's hand, they get their own thing, but now VP, this is not a moment in the draft, like, oh crazy, they're going to first pick a Tiny. We're not prepared for this. They should be ready.
The problem is Tiny has been already dissected, and I feel teams have learned how to play against it. Right, Jenkins? We've seen some Wyverns, some Omni Knights even.
Yeah, I think Tiny's been dissected. You know, a hero that I think hasn't been dissected is Monkey King, which is available.
Also
And
available.
okay,
These
or
two
they'll just pick
teams.
Tiny.
Let's go Tiny, yeah.
In the first game of this series, we saw Monkey King
Ignored
ignored
until
until
the
the
end.
very last pick.
It was
yeah.
last pick. The last pick in the game was Monkey King.
It also
Shockingly.
was their first Monkey King game at TI at least. Of course, they've played it before, but maybe
Yatoro
it was a
can
little...
play everything.
Exactly. Maybe it was a little bit of surprise, like the TI prep, when you focused on TI, just looking at the games they're currently playing, when it's not there, you know, when it's absent, suddenly it appears,
So
right?
There's a bunch of players that I talk to that don't even consider Tiny to be completely broken. Okay, we can deal with it, and then you try and draft something against it, and it doesn't work. Okay, we can't deal with it. Percentage-based damage.
Right. I think the Necro has actually been the most impressive answer to me, because I thought that Necro would be near irrelevant at this TI.
You have Interwyvern that does something similar as
Sure.
well, and the ultimate is nice.
We saw Underlord also. We saw some Death Prophet, but it didn't find as much success.
It was like a pop
And
quiz. Life
Phoenix-
Stealer too.
actually,
Phoenix is a good
another
answer.
one.
I mean, I feel like these other answers like Necro, Death Prophet, these are like generally considered to be not that great of heroes. You just don't see them if they're not against Tiny. Whereas something like Phoenix is fine aside from Tiny. You know, you'll see this pick with the Mars, like some hero that can set up for the egg. So I do like this a lot, like having a support that makes the hero finally killable.
Spirit here, like in history of DPC, they normally just snap pick a Morana when they see the Phoenix, right? The classic, you leap in, you kill the egg. Maybe they're a little bit hesitant here because they want to lock in that Collapse area. If you look at their drafts, right, it normally is Collapse in the first phase, allowing for a later pick for the cause. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just go for a casual offlane, but maybe because of the
think
Tiny already showing.
Some
Even with the
crazy
Tiny?
Legion Commander 5.
Oh, okay,
or
Snap
Lil
5 is the
Shredder.
other option.
Yeah, that
Yep.
also works.
Oh, that's
Perfectly
yeah.
fine.
Insta kill the egg. Some follow up for Tiny. Snap Tiny's pretty good. You know, you cookie Tiny in.
If this was OG, which it
Yeah,
isn't,
well,
Legion
impossible.
5, Legion 5 versus Phoenix and Bane sounds very tasty. But yeah, Snapfire is also very good.
The thing with Snapfire that I really enjoy so far at TI is the value of ultimate at objectives that you don't really want to defend, but you can defend through just yeeting out that Mortimer's Kisses, right? Like the creep wave comes in, bam, that's gone. Couple heroes now half HP. You don't really have the resources to then hit the tower. So a single Snapfire, if in the correct position, can really punish any kind of 3 or 4 man moves on objective if, of course, you connect on the Mortimer's Kisses correctly.
Kind of a cool pick with Tiny too, because you put the minus armor on towers, and Tiny's like already a great hero for taking down towers. Probably the fastest hero in Dota currently for killing towers.
For killing anything.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
disgusting, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
You mentioned that you wanted them to pick a Collapse hero. Is there any reason why you... So Collapse played Tiny, I think once, at least during the group stage. Primarily, it's been a Toronto-Tokyo hero. would you prefer an offlane Tiny or would you prefer a mid Tiny?
I think they lost that game.
They
where he
did,
was-
yeah.
This is, I
Tiny.
think, just throw it into the carry. Like, you could see some type of mid scenario, but I think we've just seen how carry Tiny, if with the correct enablers, is so strong. But so now with the Snapfire, this is kind of just, in our minds, just going to be the carry, the Tiny, you get your normal items, you get the Shard, the BKB, the Silver Edge, you throw up, you get the Aegis and you just rock up into the enemy face and just take their objectives, right? Like, it's a very simple style of Dota.
So the Tiny that you're talking about, Tsunami, probably was somewhere in the group stages, am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
I think it was, yeah.
The hero wasn't necessarily as discovered back then as he is right now. And
Okay, yeah.
most teams understand that if you don't put this hero on position 1, if you don't put Tiny as that Silver Edge carry, it just doesn't feel right. It's
I
not as
want to
potent.
quickly mention Snapfire because yes, it's good against the ultimate of the Phoenix, but Team Spirit, even though they've had great success throughout TI10, just in general, this will be their 7th game. They've got 6 games so far with it. It's 2-4, and that seems a little rough.
And it doesn't have a good win rate in this tournament either. It's a 38% win rate despite
Ow.
being picked so much.
It had a pretty solid win rate at the beginning of this tournament because it was being played in a combination with Tidehunter. And that lane is pretty potent. You have a lot of minus armor, then you can combo that with some TA on mid lane, Venge and whatnot. But on its own, Snapfire doesn't seem as the most broken position for it.
And Tide already banned as well, so what other offlaners would you like to see a Snapfire with?
I think the Night Stalker that we had mentioned earlier would be good. They could go all in on minus armor, pick up a
But
Slardar.
the egg, the sun, it
That's
burns.
right.
There's
I
still
know.
Earthshaker. That's kind of the go-to. It's like a weird one because literally like just before this tournament, the Earthshaker offlane was completely unheard of, and then all of a sudden it's the offlaner. But then some teams completely ignore it as well. They're like, no, that's not legit. But that would be the one because you can like cookie the Earthshaker in. You've some stun set up for the Snapfire abilities, the Snapfire ultimate.
Have we mentioned Tusk yet? The collapse offlane Tusk?
Not yet.
Put that in with a Snapfire, just go all out skirmish.
I'd like to see some One Punch Man. That
Yeah, you
sounds
go
dope.
One Punch Man. Like, of
Yeah.
course, Phoenix probably not the best because you can egg, but then you have the Snapfire already. But I could see that being an option. If VP fully lean into 5 offlane bans, Collapse might go, all right, lads, let's just
so
have a bit of
far-
fun.
Alright,
Let's go for it.
Curveball, they are banning out 5 offlane heroes. We've seen earlier this tournament
fine.
the Tiny for Collapse. I know it didn't win, but it's still on the table.
This is what I was hoping for even before the thing started. At least now that you are blowing some flex potential on Spirit rather than saying this is going to be Collapse's hero. Now it's, I mean, all 3 cores of Spirit have played Tiny before. So now if they go hard in the paint on banning out offlaners on VP,
You have to
the-
be
He's
laughing.
Giggling.
He's like, oh my god, they're
you
banning out
haven't-
all my heroes and I
So when
already
this
got mine.
happens, as a player, you feel so
Oh my God,
proud.
you're so
you feel
proud.
so
Yeah.
good. It's one of the best things to have all your heroes banned out against
I
you.
feel like they're just forcing him to pick Earthshaker now. Like I don't see what else you can pick as an offlane right now.
They broke it. It's the Shadow Demon last.
And then they go, okay, they go for a
Luna, okay.
That actually makes sense. So they banned out the Shadow Demon to protect the Luna. Also, the Legion Commander that was mentioned earlier as a 5, in its real role is a position 3, so they ban her out as well. As it enables Tiny, plus it counters Bane a bit. So.
And if you
That's
think about Collapse's hero pool, right? Luna is one of the best heroes at dealing with these tankier style of offlanes, enabling the ranged forward to be kind of the big damage dealer. Like, Tide, Mars, Mag, Nightstalker, etc., even though most are banned. Any of the other melee heroes left for Collapse, which he loves to play, aren't going to be too comfortable at winning the lane against a Luna, right?
Man, they're running low on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very low
Ooh,
on
a
time.
Doom.
Okay. Oh, double insta pick.
Doom Lina.
Damn, this looks like a
Okay.
T1 draft.
yeah, I know, right? But that's only because of the Doom. I'm still not a fan of the anti-synergy between Eclipse and Supernova on the side of VP. That was the good reason why you guys were not too hot on the idea of a Night Stalker. Team fights look complicated for VP. And Doom, I'm surprised that they go
Is
for
it day? Is it night?
But
Yeah,
it's not like Luna's has less day vision or something. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not
this
a
dude-
big
Night
deal.
Stalker's
Explain to me
unplayable.
the day and night,
Oh,
please.
beautiful.
So the
Sure.
Phoenix egg makes it daytime, and that overrides absolutely everything. So Night Stalker is hard countered by that, even if Phoenix is on your own team, because you lose your Hunter in the night passive.
Yeah.
But Luna, you're losing the nighttime advantage of having more vision, which the egg gives you so much vision that I feel like it's not
playable,
It's totally playable. Night Stalker's like legit unplayable. Like abandon if you have a Night Stalker and a Phoenix on your team in a pub.
I assume that this Doom, though, is going to be the offlane, right? Because with the Lina pickup, you want that to be mid, Tiny's your carry, Snap's most likely your 4. And yeah, it's just going to be that casual Doom in the offlane, most likely skipping some waves. You're not really going to be pressuring Luna, but you're just trying to get as fat as possible. So when your Tiny and Lina are ready, you join up together.
Is there something on the side of Virtus.pro that they can pick for GPK here? If that's the case, to counter the Lina instantly, I don't feel there's too many heroes. We've seen some TAs, but with Luna it would feel a little bit too greedy. They go for an Invoker. Susceptible to being just doomed and then useless, but so is every other single hero in the game.
But at least in this scenario, if it's a Quaswex Invoker, he can at least put everything onto the Luna, be it the Alacrity, a Solar Crest, or whatever. So if you are doomed, Luna can stand her ground and at least try and take whatever fight's possible.
I just hoped that they thought about this fact that if you are banning out all the offlaners before you pick your own,
Yeah, that is a problem.
you might be facing a problem later.
And the key thing here is VP's offlaner. It kind of needs to be that kind of BKB piercing style of offlaner stun, because when Doom gets BKB, Tiny gets BKB, Lina gets BKB, they all want to buy it by 20 minutes. You're going to be dealing with a triple core lineup that actively wants to be in your face. So VP doesn't have that.
You do have Bane at least. That's BKB piercing, right? But besides him,
Beastmaster still in
It's
the
going to
pool.
be, yeah.
This is a great Quaswex Invoker game. If you're Tiny or Doom, like we talk about Tiny, like what's the most important thing about this hero? The guy runs around with like 4,000 HP, and you're like, you just can't kill him. Obviously, on Invoker, Quaswex, you're probably going to get a Spirit Vessel, so that's going to help out. But also, if Tiny has no mana, he's not as useful. Sure, he can right-click people with the tree, which we've seen happen a lot, but you can get kited. You become like a Sven at that point. It's like a kiteable hero. So just mana draining these like tanky heroes that also use their mana is super effective.
If it is a Yatoro playing Tiny, by the way, that would indeed be his 10th different hero on main stage TI.
and Virtus.pro, they just banned out the
Faceless
Faceless Void, so they're expecting maybe something different. And Team Spirit's Centaur would fill Virtus.pro's lineup so well that I really respect this ban. Afterwards, the Sand King. I think Sand King perhaps not as strong.
What offlaners are there other than Earthshaker?
Night Stalker.
Underlord.
You can't. Neither team can Night Stalker. because of
Don't do it,
Phoenix.
don't do it.
So I can tell you what both DM and Collapse have played. Tusk is also still in the pool, the one that T-Gov mentioned.
I'm
before.
down for a Tusk for Spirit.
But the Vengeful Spirit, Night Stalker,
Wait,
Shaker.
I thought we're looking at Doom offline. I thought
Yeah,
we're looking for,
I think so too.
Swap
Yeah.
it up, why not? Go quick.
Well, we're looking for a VP offlane here, though.
Sure. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but our Spirit looking for a Yatoro hero. Where's this Tiny going?
I would assume they are still looking for... The 5. No, it's the 5, right? It's the 4 snap.
That's not what
yeah.
VP think. VP
That's-
banned out.
Well,
a
it
bunch
could be
of
a could be a
carries.
4 Doom too. I mean,
In 8 seconds, we'll know.
Well,
Ooh.
they have such little reserve time. We'll just know.
Yeah, we'll just
And is-
know. It will be
I
the
don't
Tells
final
me
Okay.
absolutely
Okay.
nothing.
I don't know anything.
Silencer most likely going to be support. Surely
Yes,
you don't
correct.
want to give him that much farm priority.
Most
The biggest
instant
impact he's going to
Invoker.
have is pressing his big R button, making sure everybody is silenced.
Hard counters the Phoenix too. If you cast whatever the
Last word.
last word
Last
on the
word.
Phoenix as he's flying away, he just comes
Isn't that
back.
your segment, Jenkins? Last word?
That is my segment. Oh no, I forgot. Oh, there's the Beastmaster.
There's the Beastmaster.
The
Nice.
only remaining offlaner in the game.
not only do they have BKB piercing ability from Beastmaster, it synergizes really well with Luna and the whole playstyle. What they needed this frontliner that can also push and bring some map control to the game, a lot of vision. I think it's the perfect hero here, and as a silencer, you truly don't like to be playing into all the summons running your way. However, when it comes to the silencer, there are some positives, right, Stigov?
Yeah, I mean, why are you throwing that on me straight away? I was thinking of something else. Yeah, no, I like it. Honestly, I think Silencer is really good right now. I think people hate on Silencer for no reason other than it's a good hero to some degree. But I think Spirit, they needed something in their draft to be able to give them that way where if VP run at them, they can just set the scene in these earlier fights. Like when BKBs come out, of course, it's going to be a bit hard for Silencer to have fun. But the idea is the pre-20 minute, when Doom's farming, Tiny's farming, Lena's farming, they needed that way to say, no, we don't want to take this fight. We want to go again in like 2-3 minutes time. So I like the idea from Spirit reacting like this, but VP with the Beastmaster pick, it is giving them that nice window where Luna, Beastmaster, Invoker together with an Aegis won't really care about the value of a Doom, the value of a Global. They just have to run straight through that. So Spirit, it's going to be a bit of a long one, but equal drafts.
That means that that the Roshan is going to be key for this series, for this third game rather, Jenkins, right?
I'm actually getting Vici T1 Game 2 vibes from this draft from VP, where I think there are so many ways for them to win the game between the Beastmaster summons, empowering the Luna with the Invoker Alacrity. They've got the Phoenix Sunray versus the Tiny. I really think this is a tough game for Team Spirit to win. Like, they can definitely go super late and then win, or they can snowball, but VP has a lot more opportunities to win the game just because they have more like cheese heroes, more options.
Yeah, I feel Virtus.pro, they have a lot of synergy. And Team Spirit, they have the Osrog Rock guy. So.
Yeah, that's how exactly.
And look, there he is up front. Beautiful.
Big boy.
Beautiful indeed. All right, guys, it is game 3 time. Before we head into the game, we got a quick word from the coach. It is this time Silent from Team Spirit.
Silent, thank you so much for joining me. Now, in the last game, Virtus.pro targeted Collapse, and now they have targeted him in the draft. Do you feel confident about his chances in this game?
About our chances or just
about Collapse?
Collapse. I think we're okay. It's decent drafts. It more depends who would play better.
It does depend who plays better, but this is $1 million draft. If you win this game, you are top 4. Is it good enough?
Maybe. I didn't think about it.
You didn't think about the draft. Fantastic. Well, this is going to be quite the showdown. So we're going to head over to ODPixel and Insania to get this game underway.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, the deciding game now between Virtus.pro and Team Spirit, a game which will be the last at this TI for one of the two. Insania, what do you make of this approach this time round? Quite a change, if I feel, from what we've had so far from both of these teams in this series. What are you liking?
So, I think there are strengths to both drafts. I don't want to bias any viewers at home watching. I don't want to give them any feeling that either team is stronger or weaker, but I'll tell you guys what the strengths are. So I think VP, they're looking to buff up this Luna, right? You're going to have Alacrity, you're going to have Beastmaster Aura, you're going to have Sunray. It's going to be all about the Luna for them. I think stacking of Ancients, just like basically playing the macro game and the early game, and then having this 4-man of Invoker, Beastmaster, Bane, and Phoenix running around and applying pressure to Team Spirit. Whereas Team Spirit, there's going to be like this tricore. You're going to have the Doom with a lot of farm, you're going to have Tiny with a lot of farm, you're going to have Lina with a lot of farm, and then they're going to look to power through and try to kill that one target. So basically it is, if Luna dies without an Aegis later on in the game, VP's teamfight's done. They're relying heavily on the Luna to output the physical damage for them. And if they can't kill Luna, then 1v5 Nightfall is going to happen.
Sure, and we've seen Nightfall do that many times before. Both games really. Both Nightfall and Yatora have been solid on the farm, solid on the carry. See what sort of timings they can hit this time round. Of course, Yatora this game on the Tiny, one of those heroes that's been first picked many a time here at this TI, and a lot of times taken away, getting it through here in this all-important game. Spirit almost certainly going to be feeling very happy, at least with the opening 2 from their draft. A great way to go into this.
Yeah. I would expect Team Spirit to have a little bit of an edge in the middle lane. I think as the levels start coming out, Lina should be edging out the Invoker slightly, as she has the option of farming out that small camp and pushing out the middle lane. So expect Toronto Tokyo to be off to a great start. Top lane between Luna Phoenix and Doom Snapfire, you don't really have a lot of like kill threat from either side. So you're mostly going to see them try to contest a lot for CS. You're using that Luna aura together with the Phoenix. Pretty decent attack damage to just get creep control creeps. So both Doom and Luna should have a pretty good time up here top. And then bottom lane, I think, is where you might see some action happen between Save and Aposhka, trying to get some trades going. And this is really where I see kill threat potentially happening. If you're out of position and getting slowed by the boars, it could lead to a kill.
And do you like sort of the sort of the closing from Spiritual, the fact that they get this silencer in the support position? Like, what is this going to offer for them in terms of timing and team fight?
Right, so if you think about it, VP's draft, the way it comes together, it's going to be all about Luna, right? And they need to cover her, they need to heal her, they need to be applying these buffs to the Luna. And if they're able to just stop any sort of counter initiation, stop these buffs from coming out, stopping these heals from coming out, and they're able to burst them during that global silence duration, that might just be enough for them to win the game. So it makes sense, I understand what they're thinking, but you know, theoretical Dota doesn't always play out that way when you're on the main stage of TI, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get that execution right and find the fights where they're allowed to use their spells that way, as he's in a little bit of trouble here in the bottom lane.
We have it. First blood for Zay. Obviously trading. I mean, is any sort of support against a Bane in lane? It's never easy, especially when it's Save on the Bane. He always knows how to read the matchup and when he can push himself.
Yeah, I would argue Save on these like ranged lane dominant heroes arguably is the best position for in the world. This is his dream playstyle, so not too surprised by seeing that. We see up top actually the Luna is falling a little bit behind the Doom and the CS. I didn't expect that this early on, so maybe they're able to push that lead. As Kingslayer's in a bit of trouble, but gets away just fine.
Kingslayer is gonna be forced right back here by Mirror, so plenty of room for Collapse to pick up the farm. Nightfall being forced to CS here underneath the tower.
I think at this level, you know, that should not be too much of a problem. He has a level 2 Luna, Lucent Beam as well.
I'll say that, I think he missed one of them. There we go, he's got this one.
Yes.
Easy. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I mean, the timing up here in the top lane is really the level 3. That's when the level 3 on the Phoenix, sorry. That's when they have the damage to potentially threaten a kill on Mira. I wouldn't really expect Collapse to have too much trouble going through this lane with the start that he's at. He's already up at 20 CS. And here we go, initiation on Nightfall.
Yep, straight in they go. Won't be able to stay on top of it. But the damage being done out.
Yeah.
How much regen they have between the two of them? They don't actually have any. Just the stick charges on Nightfall. One Fairy Fire on Kingslayer. Pressure definitely getting to them.
Sorry. The worst part is the boots just got delivered to Nightfall, so his courier's not in base for him to get any regen.
Definitely in a bit of a fragile position now, VP. These two being as low as they are.
Yeah, I think the top lane is doing above expectation, and you know, we've been talking about Collapse a lot, and this is the reason why. He has the skill to pull out plays like this.
And they go. They get the cookie connection. Nightfall will turn, but the range is there from Mirror. Gets taken out. I mean, you knew that Team Spirit were going to go for that, sitting as low as they were up here. I mean, VP's just lack of regen getting completely punished.
Yeah, absolutely. And just great find from Team Spirit. I didn't really expect this top lane to have this much action going on. I expected that more to be happening in the bottom lane, but yeah, top lane going very, very well for Spirit. 26 CS on the Doom, but you see at the bottom lane, DM's matching that. And these are both like very scary heroes to have a great early game on.
A very even CS elsewhere. I mean, mid lane. Actually, mid lane, we are starting to see Lina being able to clean up the waves a bit more effectively than GPK and farm that small camp.
Yeah, and that really is the advantage that she has here. I expect Toronto Tokyo, very standard build, most likely going to see the boots to travel into some sort of BKB into damage item. Might even sneak into Yules there, just because when you're going up against something like Bane or like that, you want to have as many disables as possible. You do have the Global Silence to cancel it, but ideally you want to have the freedom of using the Global Silence to cover your team fights and not be forced to save it to react to like a Fiend's Grip or something like that.
Bottom save. Just going to start setting up onto Miposhka, but DM not quite able to get around and get any hits in. And now, it's going to be Team Spirit able to turn back in. Toss underneath the tower, save. But the Fairy Fire, and he's taking tower hits. He'll go down. Can't quite get him for another Brain Sap. A little too close there, and Yatoro ready to punish it with the toss.
Oh, perfect gameplay there from Team Spirit. And looking at the laning phase now that's shaping up, I think most things are going quite as expected, but both the Luna and the Doom are actually quite low on the net worth compared to the opposite end. So seems like both heroes are suffering. I think that favors Team Spirit, right? Because if you think about VP's draft, they need this Luna to be fat. She's going to be the one outputting the damage. And Collapse has the recovery tool in his Devour, so things going pretty well for them up here top. But the Beastmaster definitely is a problem. Helm of Dominator just finished up on him.
And with sort of the Beastmaster and the Luna, you know, who's going to be grouping up sooner this game, would you say, when you look at these two drafts?
I think VP's draft is probably going to be the one that groups up faster. And I think Team Spirit's job is going to be to disrupt that, to not allow them to get the objectives the way they want to, and like try to kill them before they're able to group up.
I do see in the mid lane, Toronto Tokyo did take the walk back to base to refuel. If he heads anywhere other than the mid when he gets back out on the map, he's just going to return here, keep on farming.
Yeah, and GPK is TP top. They want to make sure Luna is able to start farming as effectively as she can.
Spirit are keeping completely away from this. Only in the trees by the tier 1 GPK, which has to spend his time sweeping back to mid, where Save will have a bit of a setup onto Toronto Tokyo. GPK trying to come in and help out. Save might be in trouble. Toronto Tokyo has got that Laguna to commit with and save. Oh, he tries his best to hide behind the tree line, but Toronto Tokyo does still find him. He's in a lot of trouble for this though. Cold snap in the EMP into the stun from DM's center.
That's a really nice play from Save there, completely baiting him out. And then, you know, it was so close to him juking it out. If he gets that juke, he survives. What an amazing play. But really nice response there. You see, this first earn charge for Invoker is really important. And that's sometimes the hard part of playing Invoker. When you're stuck in your lane, you're unable to get it. You saw him TP top, not find a kill, but then rotates back mid and saves, sets up the opportunity for him to get that. So now he has that earn. If he wants to make a move, it's much, much easier.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's alright. He's able to find Kingslayer. And with the curses upon him, it's going to be quite the bit of damage ticking in, but GPK's there to try and help out. Curses still tick down Kingslayer. Itoro burst out of mana. DM closing the gap in with the roar. He'll have the follow-up lockdown if necessary, but the right clicks alone, that'll do it. Yatoro trying to run, but completely surrounded by GPK, DM, and his Centaur.
Yeah, pretty funny little interaction there as DM took over the Centaur that was already EMP'd by his own Invoker, so he couldn't use the stun.
And top lane, Mirror does end up going down here. We see a quick move once more. GPK making sure to get involved in all of this early action, keep those charges up.
Yeah, GPK just in the right place at the right time, and when he's not, he makes sure he has the TP ready to get over there. He's having a very, very good start to this game. You would expect around 9 minutes for the Selena to be the one that's ahead and dominating.
DM, he just walks under the tower, kills off Miposhka. And TPing over to punish him for this. See if they're actually able to do so. The kiss is coming out, but DM, he's just going to go straight for the TP away. And there is nothing to stop that man.
VP are set up here. We have level 5 on Phoenix with the Invoker, but their judgment here is that we don't have enough damage to kill the Tiny. So they're waiting for the Beastmaster to rotate back, but...
They're going to try. But you're right, even with the opening, it's not enough to burn through Yatoro straight away. Yatoro's actually looking to turn back in with a cookie over towards GPK.
Oh, he misinvoked. He invoked Cold Snap, so he doesn't have Invis for another 2 seconds. Can they chase him down, though?
They've got the toss. He's got it back up now, but the curse is already in place. Sentry ready to drop as well as GPK will die.
Oh, that one's got a sting. He misinvoked. He definitely wanted the Ghost Walk, but he got the Cold Snap instead, so unable to make the distance there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, you see the Luna now heading back into the jungle, starting to farm up these stacks and recovering his early game. And this is going to be really the key thing for VP, I think. How much pressure can they apply with the other heroes? They have Phoenix Egg back up now. They have Roar, Catapult Wave bottom. Beastmaster's gameplay, it sometimes just becomes pretty predictable because you're mostly going to look to push around the Catapult timings because that's when you get that bonus tower damage. And that is what I expect them to go for here. Most likely going to see the Phoenix rotate bottom, try to use that Catapult to apply pressure to the tower. And Spirit looks like they want to fight. They're setting up.
So at the 600 Poshka, so global, we'll be ready to break through the combo that VP will want to play with. Supernova, of course, up for them on their side.
So VP here, they're noticing that Nightfall's not getting pressured in the top lane, and this means that there are no heroes there, right? Nightfall's able to farm top, he's not getting pressured. That means DM's about to get ganked, and what do you see DM do? Fall back straight to his triangle, wait for support to come by, and now they're going to make the attempted push with all their heroes in position. Great plays from VP, they're reading the map so well right now.
They will now start to push a little further on this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Toronto Tokyo and bots at the ready will be able to join engagements. It looks like Spirit is mirroring the pressure here up top.
Yeah, Spirit recognizing, you know what, we have the better scaling. We don't need to force any fight if we don't have to. Collapse has that Midas queued up. He actually already has a finish and he has a BKB queued up, which he already has one piece for, so he's incredibly farmed. And it's only going to start ticking in faster. He doesn't even have Devour maxed out yet and he's already on top of the net worth graph. It's going to be a real problem for VP, this Doom.
2k lead on the passiveness. Will definitely show itself in the farm here for Spirit. VP not quite able to find a catch there with the swing around, but they'll split themselves back up. Pressure will remain on the bottom from DM.
Yeah, VP support's also moving towards the top side of the map, recognizing that DM's not under any pressure. Spirit's not looking to fight this, so moving their Phoenix back top, keeping him close by the Invoker, so they always have the damage to fight back if somebody gets caught.
Spirit, they want to make a move.
Yeah, they don't want to just have this Beastmaster controlling all their space. They don't want to get stuck in their base like they did last time.
No, even just saw the Bane save's been keeping them out of their jungle completely, so they've got to try and flush them out here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But you notice, like right now, Tiny doesn't really have a lot of space to farm. He's dropping down. He was doing very, very well at the start of the game, but at this point, there's just not many camps for them to farm. So I feel like VP are doing a good job of controlling the pace, but I'm scared of this Dumo, and he's getting really, really fast.
He's going to get massive. And even if Yatoro's farm gets shut down a bit, Toronto Tokyo on the Lina, we've seen it many times. The Lina can very easily carry a game on her own back as well with the damage that they can do later on.
Absolutely, and I think Team Spirit, they're like one of the few teams that I see do this consistently, where the Yatoro kind of shifts between the 1 and the 3 position almost. He kind of plays like more of a supportive player from the carry position. He'll buy the carry items, but you see it, look at his item queues up. He has Echo Saber into Blink. He recognizes that's going to be his job this game.
Top lane. An attempt on to collapse. There's a lot here with the burn of the Sunray. Using the Supernova as well, but collapse is going to be able to walk out of the range of it all. So,
yeah, the lack of the Urn Charge. They just don't have enough Urn Charges to chase him down there.
at the same time that was happening, Spirit did have a bit of a poke at the mid. The remainder of VP's lineup in position to stop it. And VP, again, just getting themselves to the jungle. You see Save and DM consistently pushing Spirit out of this, their half of the map down.
They also, VP recognizes, right? Even though we didn't kill the Doom, he's out of resources, so he can't fight. What does that mean? That means that Team Spirit has to draw back on the map, and VP are allowed to walk up to this tower. They know that they have a timing until Doom regions up, until they have to reset back.
This tower, nothing can be done. They will get the deny at least, but inevitable pressure from VP in their push of DM and his summons. It's building up.
Yep.
And if they can get these objectives, they will keep the gap pretty small between the farm of both the teams.
I mean, I think Team Spirit right now, they're just trying to greed up for their BKBs. As soon as they get the BKBs, that's going to be their timing to fight. But VP are controlling so much more map space, the way the map looks right now. And if you look at the Luna, she's just catching up. She started at the bottom of the cores, now she's in second place and almost caught up to the Doom. So I feel like if you're Spirit, you're not too happy with this pace, but maybe you have to accept it until BKBs come out, as Doom's caught once more.
It's going to have the back of a Yatoro though, Collapse. He's ready to try and turn. GPK into the trees to dodge Collapse, trying to get the ult off. Now the ult comes in from the Luna as Nightfall turns up to the fight. Not enough beams to burst through Collapse's Doom though. Both teams able to step back. An Eclipse and a Doom gone to waste for each respective side.
Yep, expect the smoke here from VP, right? There's no Doom, they're weak. This is going to be their time to pounce, and immediately they smoke up. They have no cooldowns. They have this Quaswex Invoker that's constantly able to fight and run around. And even the mana situation on Team Spirit is something that we need to keep close track of, because if they burn the mana, the hero is no longer a hero, right? It goes for almost every single hero that they have on their team. Lina needs the mana, Doom needs the mana.
Quick 9 mana, set things up. It's close to tier 2 tower, but they've got so many up here, they'll even use the Roar.
Yeah, great kill. They just want to buy space for Nightfall. And he's closing in on that BKB. I feel like every minute that ticks by, oh no, collapse.
Oh, that was rather a greedy attempt at a TP. They'll hide in the trees, but they've found him more money for the Luna.
Yeah, this Luna's getting scary fat, and I think once we see the Luna ready to start team fighting, expect that Roshan attempt. This Roshan's going to be so important, because if you think about Team Spirit's heroes, Tiny has basically a spell combo the way he's itemizing, right? Going for the blink, not really going to be the big auto attacker that we're used to seeing during this tournament. Lina as well relies on her ultimate, relies on her BKB to fight. Same thing goes for Doom. He just wants to Doom a guy and push for him to die, so Aegis is going to be huge.
GPK just been a huge nuisance there, forcing Yatoro back each and every time with that EMP.
It really does feel like the GPK show. He's everywhere, right?
He is. He's right in their faces.
Oh, Fiend's Grip coming out on the silencer. Even giving the kills.
Now we're able to blow up the Phoenix. So the trade is found here.
Yeah. Laguna Blade used. So is Fiend's Grip. But yeah, for Spirits, it's just try to get this blink on Yatoro, try to finish up the BKB. You have it on Lina now, you have it on Doom, and then once they get that blink on Yatoro, that should hopefully be their cue to try to find a fight for themselves. Because if the game continues like this, the way the map's set up just heavily favors VP.
Yeah, this, Nightfall Luna, as you mentioned before, very much on track to be able to carry this completely in any sort of action they bring them, as long as they can protect her from being doomed. And so far, things look to be pretty good for VP in that sense. Top lane, Yatoro trying to push out the wave. That's the Tiny going down. Nightfall again picking up the glory. I mean, he's been having all this space on this half of the map, and we're seeing him get some very nice kills here with the way that Team Spirit seem to be just sending one core up there at a time.
It's just abusing the night vision from the Lunar Blessing, right? Luna can see you when you can't see her, so she's able to scout that out as she comes toward that camp and farm. And, this is the perfect kill for them. If Tiny doesn't get Blink, that gives them opportunities to keep farming and keep fighting and keep deciding what's going to happen in this game. And now they have that Aegis. I think this is massive for them. Game firmly in control for Virtus.pro, I'd say.
Yeah. They're hitting the timings they're down for. Save. Forcing some TPs in here around the mid. So we'll be there to ensure that nothing else follows up from VP.
Yeah, I'm sure Yatoro right now is saying, don't fight, I just want my Blink. I just need his 400 gold. And it's going to be hard to find.
I mean, look at this. GPK starts the fight on top of the silencer. So Miposhka, no chance to return fire with a setup of a global. GPK is coming in from all the angles that Spirit least expect.
That's just great recognition from VP, right? They know where the Tiny's going to go to farm. The Tiny was right there.
I mean, this save Bane, so many games, it's just set up so much. And the show continues from the map. Instantly just able to buy time with the Nightmare for VP to join up. And VP, the triple kill on GPK. This, he's getting out of control. This Invoker 4-1 and 5, he is hitting full momentum. And it is, as you say, complete control of the map. Spirit, they've got to get a grip somehow.
Yeah, they're hitting their item timings, though. It's important to note Team Spirit's teamfight is not weak. They're very much capable of fighting back into this fight once they're able to group up. And in order to group up, they need to finish up these items, and now they have.
Fine save. Save. Should be pretty dead here. Tries to juke his way out of things, but with the vision down, there's no hiding in the trees.
Yep, Blink Doom, global ready. They still have the Snapfire ult. This is a good timing for them to start looking for some sort of fight. Ooh, they see the Luna. Seems like they want the Invoker, though. They feel like they can't go on the Luna with the Aegis without it being a bad fight for them, so...
Yeah. They've got to do something about GPK. He's been getting away with so much, they'll find him! Jump in, the combos there, GPK out of the game.
Yeah, Doom wasn't even needed to be used there, so... They still have the capability of fighting into VP. And if you take a look at VP's wards, they're set up very... Team Spirit's wards, they're set up very defensively in their own jungle. And that's really where they're going to be looking to punish VP if they overextend, as they're heading over towards their vision to play close to it. So if DM shows himself on these wards, expect to pounce immediately.
Nightfall. Still, of course, very ready to fight with the BKB and the Aegis. He'll commit onto Collapse, but Collapse has got the BKB. They turn straight away, they burst through the Luna. It's the first life of Nightfall gone.
Yeah, true BKB's burnt though, so they recognize that they can no longer fight this, and they immediately reset back without any casualties. So VP now have an opening during the BKB downtime to try to find some sort of fight. If they can do it, this was an Aegis well spent.
Spirit, they know, even with that Aegis taken away from VP, very much ready to brawl and try and see if they can get the jump. Nightfall's going for the Aegis. That means Yatoro's able to get the lead and toss it back, but the BKB's out of time. Kisses coming in from the side. VP's still heading it onto Yatoro with a cold snap. Yatoro is in trouble, goes down, set up into the Raw, Sunstrike. They blow up Mirror as well. Spirit, they try and take a fight. I mean, I guess they just completely underestimated VP's potential to turn if Nightfall gets his BKB off.
I think that was as simple as just some simple miscommunication. Had Yatoro maybe yelled that out half a second faster, he gets a Doom off while he's in the air, that looks completely different. Luna's immediately dead, and you're going to see Team Spirit running at them. But unfortunately, the communication just looked like it was slightly off there. And that just leads to the polar opposite team fight, right? They have to reset back to lose Yatoro, and Snapfire ult now expended.
Toro, of course, queuing up that BKB, but he's quite the while away from it. See Toronto Tokyo doing the classic Shadow Amulet setup here. Very
He's
sneaky.
been practicing this in pubs.
He has. I'll tell you what, I wish that's what happened in my games where my teammates got the Shadow Amulet.
Yeah, mine too, Owen.
Oh.
Oh.
Save.
How does he do this? How is he just
He's just
always
there,
where
isn't
they
he? He's
are?
always there. Nightmares from everywhere. Feeds grip at the ready.
Ooh.
Global will be used, but the time's been brought in. Nightfall's going to be charging over towards Toronto Tokyo.
This is an opening, though.
I mean, the rest of Spirit are looking to connect with Toronto Tokyo. In fact, they're going to find GPK. They knew that GPK would be looking for that wraparound, and it all ends up working out for Spirit. They read and they get into the mind of GPK this time.
Yeah, just beautiful understanding of the game, right? They understand we use global. That's going to give VP the cue to group up and look for some fight. And they've decided to smoke to their Lina, find the rotating Invoker. Just really high level thinking here from Team Spirit. Something important to note, as this game does continue on into the late game, you traditionally see your Lunas buying items like Satanic, right? In order to survive the team fights. She won't really have that luxury in this game. He should be expected to get doomed in almost every single fight. So it's going to be hard for VP, I think, after a certain point in this game, to keep scaling up, to keep relying on the Luna to output all of their damage. So for VP, it's going to be about hitting the Scotty timing on Luna and then looking to try to zone them into their base again, grab the second Aegis, and then apply the high ground pressure. You see the Luna also has skipped the Shard. This is because he's planning on getting the next Roche. There's no Luna Shard. He wants that from Roshan for free.
Toronto Tokyo setting up in the mid. They open up the light strike. Ray Laguna Blade as well. They're in onto the Luna. Nightfall down. Huge kill. Super swift move from Toronto Tokyo. I mean, they knew he had the amulet, but of course, getting that blade completed in between that last play top and this play now, they weren't quite prepared for that, and Nightfall just completely misreads that item would have been online when it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time this Luna goes down, it's a huge opening for Team Spirit. They scale up really nicely into this game. They're going to have Shiva's Guard on Doom. They're going to have a second round of Doom. And Tiny is now recognizing that, you know what? I'm finally getting some space. I'm finally finding my farm on the map. He's going to go for BKB, and then he's going to look for that classic item build in the Silver Edge.
VP, not to be put down here. They are still sweeping into the jungle, despite the fact that Nightfall's out of action. Maybe seeing if they can catch any Spirit off guard. It's going to be hard though. Spirit grouped up as 4 around the mid. Toronto Tokyo will head back to reset, get that mana up. BKB Silver Edge, he's starting to gear up to be rather terrifying on this Lina. If they don't get on top of him, no longer does it really matter if Yatoro's the first one to die in this fight. Toronto Tokyo is going to be dishing out the damage.
Yep, he absolutely will. And you know, the story of the 4 Protect 1 still continues for VP. If you take a look at their items, GPK is building a Linken's. They're building Lotus Orb on the Beastmaster. They really want to protect this Luna. This is going to be all about the Luna for them. So, are they going to be able to do it, or is Team Spirit's just Tricore too strong?
I mean, it's as you said, it's always a risk. Always a risk, this 4 Protect 1 against the Doom.
Yep, it absolutely is.
Radiant's middle tower.
We saw VP here very aggressive on the dive inside the base last game. They're looking for something similar here in Toronto Tokyo. Cold snap.
Grab grip straight away. Global, it's in play.
Man, this global's come in huge front of Tokyo twice now. It's really stopping VP from making the pickoffs that they want, but it's still an opening, right? No global. Roshan could spawn in 20 seconds if VP's lucky.
And if they're able to clean up that Roche, that pretty much will be the money for Nightfall to have that Skadi complete. So very close to this next sort of power spike when they'll have the tools and able to get out. Ooh, a little close there top with the tornado, but the TP's out in time, Spirit's away.
Yeah, and we saw this in the last game too. When Roshan's about to come up, where does VP go? Well, straight into the Radiant Triangle.
Yep.
Control the space. Make sure they're pushing in the top lane. Make sure you're pushing in the mid lane. Force Team Spirit to come to you and fight under your vision.
Oh, they're coming. Smoke up from Spirit, ready to head out the base.
And you see Spirit, they're dodging this ramp that's closest to the ward because they recognize that there's most likely going to be vision there. And they're just running all the way up through the top lane to make sure that they avoid any sort of fight under VP's vision.
This is going to be pretty huge as Spirit can catch them off guard, but Linken's now complete on GPK, so we'll be there for the next fight. They've also got the Lotus Orb on the Beastmaster.
Ooh,
GPK.
they saw the Lina.
They did. Toronto Tokyo's got to be cautious. And in close, Tori's in with the jump straight away after the Luna. The Nightmare is buying time. Is he going to keep him blind? It's not. The Doom still comes down. Nightfall to go down. Turn with the roar onto this Lina as Toronto Tokyo Supernova stun in the face as well. As the Lina down, VP, they want to try and chase on for more, and they're going to find Maposhka. Cold Snap into the Sun Ray. He freezes and burns at the same time.
Okay, but Nightfall's buyback was expended. If Roshan does not spawn for them
and it's
within the timer, this is very good for Team Spirit. You see how fast this Luna dies. They're not able to keep her alive. They need the Aegis. Unless she can dodge out some of these spells, she's going to be dying.
Top lane collapse. Very close to being caught there by GPK. He's going to go out for the TP around the tree line. He's out.
Beautiful juke. He tried to use a Sunstrike to provide him with vision to cancel the TP, but unfortunately just didn't. If you're VP right now, you're praying that Roshan spawns. They don't know the timer the way we do.
Absolutely not. It's not going to be up until Spirit do have the full lineup back up. Sure, the Doom itself won't be back online. Still about a 30-second window between that and the Roshan, but everything else, it will be there. And then we are seeing if Yutoro gets that lead in, even without the ultimate from the Doom, that initiation and time for them to throw everything out, it's enough.
Yeah,
so mid DM, he's going to go for the Raw onto the Doom and collapse. I think he's going to be all right. Does have to use the BKB here to run out the Sunray. But now, that's another threat that won't be there for the Roshan. DM, no Raw.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the bottom rune. Take a look at what's at the bottom rune.
Oh, and look who's near it. Nightfall is around if he catches vision of it. This could be exactly what they need around a fight. Now, this Roshan, as we said, it's not going to be too easy for VP, with Spirit being back up.
Yeah, Roshan's up. I'm sure they're thinking about it right now.
Who's going to check out that DD? It's still there. Need the team with eyes on it.
Yep.
No one going to check it. Save. You won't be here for this Roshan. No buyback on save.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Team Spirit to try to look to make some sort of map control play, de-ward the potential wards that VP might have in their triangle, gain control of that area, and here you go. Maposhka finds it right away. He has a gem and 2 sentries. That's how committed he is to making sure that there's no vision on them.
And this is going to be huge. The buyback comes out from save. They want to do everything to maintain control of the Roche. It's back up. GPK did see the DD. I imagine Nightfall is going to head over to pick it up. He's going to be able to grab it before it disappears, so DD rune at the ready. Yep. Still just 200 gold really off that Skadi. Would have been great for him if he could somehow get that online before the fight. VP, they're already smoked up around mid, ready for someone to step at Toronto. Tokyo's got to be cautious.
He absolutely has to be cautious. He is their source of damage. He's their answer for the egg. If he doesn't get to stand his ground in the fights, it could be very, very hard for Team Spirit. Just the same as if the Luna goes down. Without the Lina, they just don't have that firepower to really finish targets off as the Skadi finishes, but this DD was most likely not going to get used for anything.
No, it's going to run out soon.
Both teams recognize this Roshan's everything. Yep. Whoever gets it is going to have a huge advantage.
Buybacks are pretty important as well. GPK just 50 gold off his, so he's close to... Yeah, he's going to have it. So there will be buybacks available across the board, really.
Yep.
And they will certainly be coming out around this Roshan, especially once some of the bigger ultimates have been used. If VPC, the Doom drop, Global Silence popped, they will absolutely invest those buybacks to secure Roshan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're Spirit here, you're probably thinking, do we want to use this opportunity while the Luna's buyback is on cooldown? And like, is it worth running into the vision to get that opportunity, or is it not? I'm sure that's the kind of conversation that's going on in their booth right now. Do we want to run in, fight when Luna can't, or do we want to wait for them to come to us?
I mean, when you look at these two teams at the moment, when they're playing sort of around the stalemate near the Roshan, who is it easier for to start the fight?
I don't actually think it's easier for either team. You have the Hawk and VP to smoke behind, but you know, you expect there to be some sort of sentry, and if they spot the Hawk coming into their triangle, you know what's coming next. That's a smoked up VP behind it. So both teams understanding that it's very, very hard to move into each other. But I just have to imagine you're thinking about it if you're Team Spirit. It'd just be so juicy. You know, the Luna has no buyback, and you know she has no buyback.
Nearly still 4 minutes on that buyback cooldown for Nightfall. See, DM, he did have the money for the blink. He's maybe holding off in case he himself doesn't want to keep the buyback available, so he can get back over to that outpost and offer up his services if he's the one that gets initiated upon. The VP, they're going to start things off here in the pit. They're going to... He's all right. He's not going to find Nightfall. Nightfall having the BKB up. The Tornado comes out at the same time with the group as well. They've locked down the Doom. Collapse has been found. Instant buyback from Collapse. DM ticking down low to the Curse. They'll try and get the Beastmaster out of there. Will DM go down the once? A bit of a heal from the Sunray. Will keep DM protected. So all in all, it's the Doom having to expend the buyback.
The Lina still has BKB.
And huge. He walked straight into it. You see the step up for GPK. The Doom is down. dropped onto the Luna. The Lotus was there, so having to deal with the Doom himself, but he got his job done. Collapse. He doesn't mind taking his own Doom. As that's Nightfall down for 100 seconds. GPK did buy back. But a bit of a very risky way for GPK to try and approach that fight. Walking in, he's got to be almost certain that Team Spirit have the sentry down.
They actually did sentry their ward first, so just great positioning by Imposha, running in as fast as possible, dropping that sentry and ward.
It's alright. Never going jump, he's got the silent. He's got him. Did they heal off?
Great EMP.
They're burning through. Yatoro took it from GPK. It goes straight over the ward. The Invoker GPK tries to push it back with the Deathly Blood, but GPK goes down. Kingslayer will kill off Yatoro, but another light strike from Toronto Tokyo. Sets up for the kill on Kingslayer. He's now ready to go over towards DM. DM trying to step away. See if they've got the chase down, able to remove the debuff with the Lotus Orb. DM, he's going to be found by the slow from Mirror. Break it comes in, the little shredder. It'll get the job done, surely.
Immediate buyback. They don't want to give up Roshan. They understand. Maybe we can't kill them, but as long as there's 3 of us alive, they won't be willing to go into the Rosh pit because it's going to cost them too many resources and it'll drop too low from trying to tank Roshan. So the stalemate continues. I think
it does.
VP, they survived the no buyback Luna here. It's huge for them.
They did. Indeed, even in a situation where you look at the death timers and GPK and Nightfall down at the moment, as you say, with what they're able to hit back with, there's almost certainly going to be time for at least Nightfall to get back in before anything kicks off again. We'll see this fight once more. You said we're just great read of getting that sentry down.
They're attempting to get the Roshan.
They are. Toronto Tokyo's trying. The Roar comes out, but the Lotus is there. The Roar back onto him on his own self. DM's in trouble. DM, he's still alive. There's so many heal. Kingslayer keeps DM alive.
Oh my god, how
Roshan is so low. Toronto Tokyo wants to step back in. Light strike where it's going to miss. He doesn't catch either of those things because the global silence comes out. Toronto Tokyo commits to finish off the Roshan. They get it, Team Spirit.
Oh, it's so huge. But are they out?
Oh, the birds! They're coming in on Toronto Tokyo, but he's out. Lotus and the Silver Edge, he'll disappear. Mirror will get left behind. They're tempted to go back in. Toronto Tokyo wants to take down Nightfall. He's in with the Laguna, forces out the BKB from Nightfall. But they got what they came for. Aegis on Toronto Tokyo. Spirit able to sneak in and take it.
Absolutely. This is huge because it slows down VP's game plan. VP's game plan was to try to win the game on the second Aegis. Now if they're even going to have a chance to win the game, they need to make sure that they get the next one that comes up. And in order to even just get there, they have to survive the second Aegis. So for VP, you're not really thinking about your game plan anymore. You're off the win condition that you initially tried to set up, and your mindset is just like, okay, how do we survive the next 10, 11 minutes until Roshan spawns again?
I mean, and how do you have to just go full defensive?
I think like every single team approaches this in a different way. Some teams start split pushing really heavily. Some teams like to group up and like play on the defense. When I think of VP, I feel like they're traditionally a team that likes to play when they're in control. They're rarely put in this position, right? They left the DPC with I think 14 wins, 0 losses. They're not used to being put behind like this. So I think this is a tough position for VP to be in, and it's a position I would imagine they don't have a lot of practice in either.
Definitely a scary time for them to be put in that position here. Game 3 in an elimination series here at the International.
Yep. We have some big items coming up soon. I think if you're Team Spirit, you're starting to think about, all right, how do we set up this timing to be as strong as possible for us?
Safe.
You have Brave. Doom closing in on the refresher. Lina's eyeing up that Hex. And you see Yatoro's finally coming around to that auto attack build. He has the shard. I believe he got it from Roshan. And
I think that, yeah, was the second one.
Yeah, Silver Edge finished up, and he's going to start looking at that AC. So he's going to turn into a third carry. We talked about how he kind of started his game off more as an offlaner than he was a carry, and now he's slowly shifting back into that carry position.
Yeah, he certainly is. Closing the gap on Nightfall's Luna. Just 1k between them now. Spirit out with the smoke. They know they're ahead. 8k advantage right now off the back of that last sort of few minute long fight around the Roshan.
Yeah. Save is closing in on a Aghanim Scepter, I believe. But he does have a Force Staff queued up, so it might change his mind at any given time.
VP know though, 3 of them right up by their tier 3s. They know how strong Spirit is here.
Yep. Spirit also respecting Virtus.pro's ability to fight. If they can hold a high ground on vision, it's going to be very difficult for them to run into. So they're keeping their formation, making sure they're always moving in with the right heroes in front. and that in this case is the Aegis Lina.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Also, Lincoln Sphere finished up on the Lina, so very hard for the Virtus.pro initiators to really get on top of her. The only real initiation they have to catch her is some sort of Enfeeble from Bane, coordinated with the Roar from the Beastmaster, so it's going to be a 2-player initiation. Got to make sure you have that coordination on point.
As we're seeing one of them always put to a stop thanks to the global potential. So further limiting the way they can start off the action, VP.
Team Spirit playing with so much discipline though. Look at it. Tiny's not walking up to clap the tower because unless he knows he's safe. Really playing this patiently. Just walks up, hits it twice, backs off. You know, they understand. We cannot give away the wrong target. We might be stronger, but it's only under the right circumstances. As long as we play it right, we will edge out in the fights. Make one mistake, and it's not the case. We see Luna eyeing up the Satanic. This is an item, you know, I think is really hard to use against Doom, but they have 2 Lotus Orbs and a Lincoln Sphere, so it's all about keeping this Luna alive. If she's able to alive, if she's gonna be able to stay alive and use that Satanic, that might be a game changer.
Bottom! Global straight away, of course, to keep Toronto Tokyo safe. That's gonna be saved dead.
Yeah, and he did just finish up that Aghanims, and I'm sure Team Spirit saw that. And Bane is not a hero that has a lot of gold, so they should be thinking to themselves, most likely this Bane does not have a buyback.
Especially now with the refresher done on Collapse. I'll be very happy to make the moves. Aegis timing out. But that ability to pretty much either guarantee a Doom on one target, or if Collapse is able to find them grouped up, get the Doom down onto 2.
Yep, Spirit has really nice vision set up though on the top side of the map. And when you're playing Radiant, this is where you want vision if you want to wait for the next Roshan. This is going to give Spirit an advantage going into the next Rosh fight. You know, maybe recognizing we don't have the best high ground tools yet. We need the AC on the Tiny in order to go high ground. So they're just playing it patient. They understand with a second Aegis, all we needed to do was take map control and make sure that BP has to fight us under our circumstances. And they're recognizing that, you know what, our Lina probably outscales most heroes of this game at this point. BP doesn't really have great heroes to catch people in the back line. So just really good game understanding from Spirit. Are we gonna see a Rax trade?
I mean, someone's gonna surely back off. I mean, GPK is here trying to hold them off with this damage. My goodness, the base not standing a chance. It's gone. The Rax, they're done for.
Kingslayer TP cancelled. No Phoenix in base.
Collapse. Can he keep himself on top of DM? And he's going to be met by the wraparound of Toronto Tokyo. It's a dead Beastmaster for sure. Rax taken, Rax defended. DM down, no buyback for 50 seconds.
Yeah, huge opening for Team Spirit. You saw how fast they killed that Rax in the top lane if they want to. Expect them to start looking for that middle lane next. I don't even know how VP hold them off. I can't even think of a scenario in which this defense works.
I mean, as we see, sort of just one death and the barracks will be gone. They've got so much pushing power here.
Yeah, Nightfall using the ninja gear to smoke himself up, then puts in the Elven Tunic. He's trying to get every little bit that he can out of his hero right now.
Has to be so careful. Spirit, if they get any sort of jump, it could be game over for VP.
Spirit playing it so patiently though. They're not giving it to VP, they're refusing to overextend. I'm sure if you're VP right now, you're feeling the pressure. You understand, you know what? Our game plan was not this. This is not the position in the game we wanted to be in. And I think this is the position where you start making mistakes. So for VP, it's going to be, how can we stay as disciplined as possible? They have the gold for the Satanic on the Luna, but he's not buying it just quite yet.
I mean, buyback's going to be so important at this stage. Especially when you're playing the 4 Protect 1. You're doing it against a Doom, you have to be sure that you're there for a second round in the fight if they get the jump on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for VP, you want to try to find these wards. These 2 wards that are alive for Team Spirit, they're huge. This is what's not preventing VP from moving over into towards the Roshan side. And they must be going through VP's heads. They must be thinking about the vision that Team Spirit has right now. They have 4 wards on the map. They basically see everything. They're controlling both the Dire jungles, and there's no way VP's playing on the Radiant side, right? So Team Spirit are basically playing with map pack at this point in the game. Miposhka's had a great game. We actually haven't touched on it, but he's been playing amazingly well. The globals have been on point. I think he saved Toronto Tokyo 3 times.
He has, from save.
Without those saves, he wouldn't be at like 28,000 net worth at this point in the game.
No, it's, you know, with how well Save plays his Bane, it's one of those things that when you see it in practice and how good Miposhka makes it look, you kind of wonder why other teams haven't done this as a direct answer. It really ruins that sort of flow that the VP want to play. We saw in previous games of this series where they just go kill to kill with the setup. Mid lane, so you're going to catch up to Toronto Tokyo with the roar. The global comes out, but Toronto Tokyo, he's not surviving this. BKB popped, it won't keep him alive, he's dead. 100 seconds. I mean, Roshan, it's up in a minute, so there'll be about a 40-second window when Rosh is up. The Lina isn't. See if VP's able to make anything work with this.
Yeah, so VP, you know what? They decide like halfway through the potential Roshan spawn timer. So for those of you who don't know, Roshan can spawn in a random timer between 8 to 11 minutes from the last time that he died. VP decided to smoke during that gap. Unfortunately for them again, Roshan doesn't spawn during the timer where they're strong and Team Spirit are weak. But like you touched on, they will have an opening.
There's a little window. It depends how quickly they spot it out and if it's going to be enough. You know, yes, there are hawks everywhere. They will see as soon as it's up. But Team Spirit, of course, still very scary with just the 4 of them. With the lead that they have, 15k up as a team right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fight it.
Yeah. Absolutely. The buyback status as well is not quite as good for Spirit. Still 3 of their heroes without the money for the buyback. You see on VP, they're playing it much more cautious. Everybody buyback at the ready.
Yep, they understand that, you know, if we don't get this Roshan, it's done. There is no item in the game that's more valuable for us than this Aegis. So it really is going to come down to Rosh, and it spawns a refresher.
30 seconds, no Toronto Tokyo. This is ideal for VP. Some crucial components in the start of a potential turnaround. As the Roche, it's all theirs. Spirit nowhere near to be seen. Aegis, refresher shard, and again, no love for the cheese.
They don't like cheese on VP.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean that.
That could potentially be game changing.
I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
You've got to use everything you get to get back in on this one. You're down at the moment. Cheese left behind.
If they lose this game, they're going to regret that a lot.
They are. They really are.
Yeah. Once again, we have a standoff. VP now finally getting rid of these pesky wards.
Look at this Toronto Tokyo. He's in with the burst straight away. They've got the grid coming out of the globals there. Nightfall being fully focused down by Toronto Tokyo. Nightfall to go down.
He's standing his ground alone against 4 heroes on Toronto Tokyo.
He's got the backup coming in. He needs it. Jump forward for collapse. The Doom goes down. Finds his target. If they can get any follow-up, the kisses are coming in. They're having a backup refresher. Pop by collapse. He's ready to go in once more. They're healing up the Luna. The tree hit comes in hard. Nightfall still alive for now. GPK trying to force back the rest of Spirit. They know no Lina for 80 seconds, but VP, they will be cautious. They won't try and push on for any more. They'll accept it as it is.
Surely they know this Lina has no buyback, right? I don't know, actually. Who plays like a madman?
I mean,
it's so hard to understand.
I was going to say, Spirit is playing without buyback on some of their cores in a way that, as you say, you just wouldn't expect them to do so. So VP may be hesitant due to the fact that they feel that the Toronto Tokyo could still make a re-entry here. We'll see how hard they do push it.
Yep. Important to note, Doom refreshed. He has 1 more Doom ready, but so did Phoenix. The refresher shard has been expended. So there's another egg on Virtus.pro's side too.
Shora's going to step in his stock, cleaning up the creeps. BKB has to come out. That's Nightfall. Starting to focus the damage onto the base. Fortification out. And then they're going to realize soon that this Lina ain't returning for 30 seconds still.
I love this from VP. As Kyle famously said, that's playing to win, baby.
Their exits there as VP. Starting to equalize the state of each bases.
So when you see the buyback timer hit about 15 seconds, you kind of know this guy won't buy back. Even if he has it at this point, he's not going to expend it. So, you know, VP, they don't really have any information to play with here. They're just going to back off, probably thinking, you know what, next Roshan. It's unfortunate for all the people watching, but I think that's really what it's going to come down to.
I mean, next Roshan as well, someone's going to get a bonus cheese out of it.
Oh, right, that's right.
So it's going to be even more of a reward for whichever side grabs it.
Yep, so we got Invoker eyeing up a Hex. We have DM eyeing up a BKB. And, you know, for Phoenix, I'd say maybe try to start farming that refresher. They need that. The Sunray seems to be crucial. He actually doesn't have the Aghanim shard. I'm quite surprised by that.
Oh, see, now they picked up the cheese now. GPK finally finding it here, so.
I think if you're VP, really the dream teamfight scenario is finding that silencer, but it's going to be really, really hard. Nepalchka is just hiding very well. He almost has a refresher, by the way.
So they want to jump Toronto Tokyo. Looks like a bit of a bait. There's the jump. Yatoro collapsed. They're straight over the high ground. They're in on the Kicksave. Kicksave gets the supernova. Doom down onto the Luna, but with the egg out, there's no Sunray to help the Luna as Light falls out. GPK will turn with the BKB to commit back onto Collapse. So 2 for 1 with Save buying back. We're also going to have a buyback for Collapse because Toronto Tokyo, he's just charging in on VP. VP having a run. GPK cast out. They've got the grip from the low ground, but Yatoro jumps in with the avalanche. Can't quite find the bane though. The grip persisting, holding back Toronto Tokyo. It doesn't matter though. Yatoro, he's got enough damage on his own to finish off GPK whilst Toronto Tokyo's held back.
Buybacks were expended though. You no longer have buyback on Collapse and no more buyback on Save. So VP now, because they didn't use the buybacks on their cores, they're going to get a fight in their team fight. And they have the roar ready. So most likely what you're going to see is some sort of initiation attempt come out from VP into the immediate buybacks.
Sure. But if you are Spirit, you do want to force these buybacks out, right?
Absolutely. If you don't get the buybacks out, you're fighting at a numbers disadvantage at the next row.
So are you getting the buybacks and then you're getting out of there, or what?
I think that's great, but you'd never know. Spirit has been playing very aggressively this game, and they might as well just commit for it. Who knows? They want the Luna, though. It's not enough with the Invoker. They want both for sure.
It's the fortification, so that's something.
Yep. Spirit reading the fact that VP want initiation before they blink in, so they're dropping the Lotus Orb prematurely here.
Can they get that Nightfall buyback? It's only 20 seconds. Looks like Team Spirit are going to back off, not feeling that they can pressure it out any longer.
Yep. Still in a comfortable position, Spirit. They have been able to take over the map now, and they have their heroes wherever they want to be. So VP need to be scared when they move out of their base. And you notice how they're swinging up to the top side of the map? Well, that's because they saw Team Spirit at the bottom. So don't really want to run into a potential Team Spirit sitting on a high ground situation anywhere.
Out they come, VP. Cheese has been passed over to Nightfall for the next move.
Yep, this move is coming out a little bit prematurely. Roshan can't really spawn yet, so even if you get kills here, you won't get the Aegis. And I would say this is probably due to the fact that it's, you know, TI, Game 3. They feel the pressure.
Toronto Tokyo's heading in. He's going to get the Light Strike Array down onto Nightfall. So they want to jump the Shittori's looking to try and get him from the side. He's got his eyes on DM. Nightfall charging in onto Toronto Tokyo, but doesn't want to go any further. Tiger Shittori's in with the combo. Nightfall pops the BKB. BKB out for now. VP are having to reset. The BKB is going to wear up on him, and DM's already used it as well. Toronto Tokyo coming in with the BKB. The global side shoot the X out, but it's immediately taken down. Hex from GPK onto Toronto Tokyo. Buyback straight up from Kingslayer. Mirrors in with a 4-man slow. Yatoro in with a 3-man combo. Triple kill for Yatoro. Collapse got the Doom down onto DM. They're chasing out the Beastmaster. DM's out of action. Buybacks from both Nightfall and TM, but Save and GPK, they do not have the luxury of returning to this fight.
This Tiny is going to chonk down those base towers, and they have buyback on Lina, on Tiny, on Snapfire, and Silencer. It's only the Doom, and his job is done, right? He's taken out 2 heroes. He's used his Doom. So whether he lives or dies here in this next fight, it doesn't really matter. For Team Spirit, now you just gotta stay focused, make sure you keep the right heroes in front, don't make any mistakes, and this game is very likely gonna be yours.
They're so close to grabbing it here, Spirit. One more good jump from Collapse with a Doom, and it's pretty much gonna be game over for VP. There it is, the jump's in, they're on to Nightfall, he stands no chance at all, and the Luna will fall! Kingslayer as well, GG is called, as Team Spirit knock VP out of the competition!
Oh man, who would have believed this coming into TI? Team Spirit, I don't think they've ever beaten VP in an official before. Finally, at TI.
At TI.
Overcome it.
What a time to do it. VP, they've always looked like that unstoppable beast of the region, and Spirit, I mean, you can already feel it in the series leading up to this. Spirit getting that magic, that LAN performance from some of these new faces that before TI, you wouldn't have expected to see, but the confidence they're displaying on this main stage in games like this, you've got to ask yourself, how far can these guys go? And if they keep this sort of level of performance up against a team like VP, who already, back in the first series of VP on the main stage, it was clear that VP, they're not playing bad. They turned up full power, but still, Spirit, they're able to shoot them down.
Yeah, absolutely. VP can hold their heads high, but I feel that magic in the air when I look at Team Spirit playing. It's reminding me of a TI8 underdog team.
Absolutely. What a series. What a game 3 from Spirit. It was a well drawn out one. VP, they tried their best to get themselves back into the action, but each and every time, Spirit's reads and moves were incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, Spirit will continue on here at the International 2-1, knocking out Virtus.pro.
We got smiles all around. Look at that reaction. Oh, Team Spirit, they have this roster, regardless, has never beaten Virtus.pro. Taken games, yes, but never a series. This org, as we started our series out with, the record was 29-1. With only one game, only the first series they played going to Team Spirit. The next time they chose to beat Virtus.pro, it was $1 million game here on the main stage at TI10. Top 4 guaranteed for Team Spirit. Holy cow, what a performance. That was crazy. I love that game. I'm sure everybody did.
The long con. You defeat me 20 times, 21 times, but I'll win when it matters. Yeah.
All these random little qualifiers, you can
They
take
meant
them down.
nothing.
They meant nothing to me.
We heard Insania say something at the end of that cast, by the way. He felt that he was seeing some of the TI8 magic of a certain underdog team. He was, of course, alluding to OG that ended up winning the whole thing. Tsunami, are you feeling that too?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Come on.
Just because you can dethrone them doesn't mean that you can become them.
Oh,
all right?
okay.
Unless they're just absorbing the power of all the teams that they beat, then it's a possibility. But so far, I need to see them get top 3 before I can start making claims like, oh my god, new OG.
Oh my god, new OG. Look at them. The
OG.
magic, the way they're playing, the aggression, the
God,
execution.
it's so fun. It's
The
so
1-2
all
punch,
down.
right?
I'm
I'm down. I agree with Blizzard here. I'm down to give them that flair, that spark, because they got to top 4. We said at the start of this panel, Eastern Europe hasn't really been at this position since I believe it was like TI3. So that alone is already a little bit of magic for the region. Team Spirit, the entire season, lived in the shadows of VP. Most teams probably looked at this. Most people looked at the series going VP would win because, of course, they've dominated every time in the matchups. So I think you can give Spirit the edge. They beat OG today. They beat VP today, and then tomorrow they've got to battle up against a little bit of China. That's going to be a rough one, but of course, it's top 4 at TI for a team that most people probably would have put 12th, coming into this. Maximum, yeah.
Insane.
Not us though, right? Like
No,
on our
no.
predictions, we had them really
Actually,
high.
Of course.
shout out to my fantasy. I didn't actually have OG cards, so I went all in on Spirit, and oh baby, did it pay off! I'm shooting to the top of that leaderboard. It all paid off.
It was a great performance. I want to highlight the Snapfire. Because that I felt like we saw some $1 million cookies in that
Mira was
in that game.
Shotguns.
On point.
He was on fire.
But also, he was on fire, but it was Yatara as well. How many times at the end of that game did we see Tiny just blinking into like 5 heroes? Point, VP being clumped up as 5 was kind of weird. But anyway, the Tiny jumping in, finding all of them, and then enabling these, cookies to come on top of that. It was, just Team Spirit, their teamfight execution. Like, we lightly commented on this coming into TI. Like, this is a team to watch out for. Like, during these ESL events, they were ruthless. If they can actually, connect and have the easy execution. In this game, same thing happened. Like, if they get that little bit of stride, that little edge, they're going to outplay you in some of these bigger team fights.
We are all very, very excited about Team Spirit. But, of course, every time a team wins, there is a team on the other side that loses. And we are going to highlight that as well. Asumi is ready to talk to DM.
Thank you very much, Shiver. I am here with DM from Virtus.pro. So DM, you guys started as VP Prodigy and you did so well that you got moved to the main roster. And now you have just confirmed that you are one of the best players in the world. How did you prepare for TI?
For TI, we changed our playstyle like a month before. We did bootcamp with our coach, and we're trying to play a new style of Dota for us because we saw that this playstyle can help us to win TI, obviously. I think playstyle and its idea is basically very okay. It's just when you go later and you do some mistakes with our playstyle, it's harder to win. So I mean, today we lost. One day we'll win. So I think we just keep trying and doing our best. I think when you keep improving, like let's say some teams of, let's say EG, they're playing same playstyle for like 2 or 3 years, and maybe one day our playstyle understanding will be that much good that we'll win TI. So let's just keep moving forward and see what happens.
A lot of your fans were cheering throughout the entire match, and they were also saying that they were super excited to see Virtus.pro play some super high-level Dota. Do you have anything to say to all of your fans who have been supporting you?
Thanks everyone who are supporting us. I think overall we did give you a lot of fun games to watch. Sometimes to throw, sometimes to just run enemies, but overall it was a fine view. So keep cheering us, keep cheering up for us, and I think we'll keep improving to make our gameplay win us games. So you get even more glad. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, DM, for a fantastic interview. Shiver, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sumi and DM. And this was DM's first main stage. He is part of the youngest team at TI. That did not seem that way.
No, I've been impressed with his media skills since the beginning. Whenever he first popped up on the camera, I was just like, oh my god, he looks dead inside. This is not good. Then total consummate professional after that. And I'm glad that someone who is so young has such a positive outlook, because I think like if it is your first TI and you're like, oh my god, it's all falling down now. What are we going to do? I'm going to worry about disband, stuff like that. No, he had his head held
This
up
team
high.
only is just getting started. Team that is also still starting. I mean, they're still doing fine as, of course, Team Spirit. We are able to talk to Collapse right now, who's with Frankie.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, and we've got Crystal Mate standing by from the Russian broadcast as well to help us a little bit with the interview. So thank you, first of all. Now, Collapse. Today, both OG and Virtus.pro have targeted you specifically in the draft. And also in Game 2, they bullied your Tidehunter. Do you feel victimized?
Ну, ты понял, да? Тебя, в общем... Чувствовал ли ты себя жертвой, когда тебя постоянно банили всех твоих героев на протяжении всего этого времени?
Да... Ну, как бы да, потому что на этих героях очень хорошо играл, мы постоянно с ними выигрывали. Но, думаю, и с OG, и с ВП там мы нашли ленивого героя. Просто во второй игре мы просто сделали плохой распик, на самом деле. Мы взяли Виспа вместе с Тайдом, а это успехом не обвенчалось, так сказать. Ну, а так, да пусть банят, все равно герои найдутся всегда.
Okay, yeah, he was a little bit disappointed because he cannot play on his favorite heroes, and then they got there on a second map, but draft with a Wisp and Tidehunter. He didn't like it, and also, but he said like, let them ban. It's totally okay. I'm gonna play it.
So tell me about the draft going into Game 3, because talking to Coach Silent before the match started, he didn't seem too confident.
Но на третьей игре, в третьей, точнее, игре у нас был такой... Что у нас еще было? Я уже забыл все.
У тебя был Doom, была Лина на миде, был сейфлейн Ятора Тини.
Да, я вспомнил. Но у нас так-то на КВшках просто мы не особо часто пикали Дума, но мы его хотели пикать, но у нас просто не получалось. И в Думе не особо были уверены, но, как показала игра, там он нормально заходил. Ну а насчет остальных героев, да, драфт, в принципе, окей был, просто вот именно Doom, типа такое слабое звено был.
Draft was okay, but Doom, we played a lot with them on a Clan Wars, but it wasn't feel well. But in this game, it felt like really good.
And also, I've got to talk to you about whether it feels good to finally beat this lineup of Virtus.pro, because I don't believe you've ever beaten them before as this version of Team Spirit. And now, not only have you done it, but you've done it to beat them into the top 4 at the International, and you've earned yourself an extra $1 million. Tell me how that feels.
I'm speechless.
It's okay. I have that effect on people sometimes. Let's blame it on the questions. Herosh, congratulations. Absolutely huge to see you here at your first ever TI, 19 years old. This is the offlaner to watch out for, let me tell you. Thank you so much, guys. Let's head back to the desk.